One of the big topics that I've been brewing on lately is the comparison between Kendrick Lamar and Bad Bunny. Now, of course, I grew up in Puerto Rico, I worked with Kendrick, so I have like these very weird, random connection to both of those. And a lot of people would maybe say, why are you comparing them? They have nothing in common. Different languages, different styles of music, different content, different home bases, different cultures altogether. And I'll explain it to you like this. This Bad Bunny's sixth album, he chose to, instead of making his traditional commercial grind, dance, party music, he decided to go in a different direction that was more emotionally based. He started making songs that were more about family, more about what is important to you, what has value beyond the party and the girls and the jewelry and the traveling and the world and things like that. I guess where I do feel like both these artists meet, the idea that in a time when you can capitalize on what the audience wants, you know what they want, you put it out, they reacted to it, it did well. There's certain artists that choose to lean more on their message and what their purpose is and what their legacy is going to be when they're gone, rather than, hey, what is going to work? Let's do that and just squeeze that dry. Which is where I do think that Drake lost the battle, is his inability to make music that actually connects. In Bad Bunny's new albums, Debí Tirar Más Fotos, you hear songs about missing family members and loved ones, and even the music in itself it's so pure at its core, a lot like Kendrick Lamar's To Pimp a Butterfly. You know, and you see Kendrick doing this continuously. Good Kid, Mad City, How to Pimp a Butterfly, Damn, and then Mr. Morale. You know, and now with his brand new album, this I would say is his most street album, his most stripped down album. This would be Kendrick's version of catchy beats, bangers kind of record. You know, he's showing you he has range. GNX was never about showing you that side of it. GNX was bringing you back to ground zero. I would say that Drake's GNX is, if you're reading this, is too late, which is where our troubles begin with Drake, because for me, that's the album that, instead of him skyrocketing towards pop superstardom, that's when he decided, you know what? I still want to be validated over here. Even though that's not where you're from, that's not what you represent, that's not the lifestyle, that's not your demeanor, that's not your personality, you yearn for that acceptance. You yearn to be validated in the hood, even though you got no business there. And it happens a lot with white kids in the suburbs, you know what I mean? They get wrapped up in like, I want to be good over here, because then I can say I'm good over here, but like, it's not you. It's really about the artist that is, instead of just always shooting for that money maker, for that game-winning shot, for how much money can I make, how many streams can I lean on. Artists like Kendrick Lamar, who are still commercially successful despite making music that isn't supposed to be commercially successful. It's not supposed to be viable. That's why you have a lot of people at the Super Bowl, your frat kids, your suburban kids, your kids that don't want to be educated, don't want to face their culture, don't want to face the history of the country that we live in. They choose to downplay the greatness of the message. But at the end of the day, the cream of the crop is always lyrical. There's always good content, and it always has a message, because at the end of the day, hip hop was founded on the people that didn't have a voice, and then creating a way for them to create a voice to be heard. And anything outside of that is just party and bullshit. That's why we watch the party die. That's why Euphoria takes us all the way back to the battle. I thought it was amazing. I didn't expect that much GNX. I caught Serena, I caught SZA, and a lot of those things, but in the moment, there's so much happening in those 13 minutes that it's kind of hard to really get a grasp on all of the little details. You know, that's why you don't get those until the next morning, when everybody's sat down with their tinfoil hats and figured out what all this means. I caught myself over breakfast looking at the screen, trying to figure out what this said. Thought the Samuel L. Jackson plug was genius, and obviously he makes a great plug-in for some sort of celebrity, not musician, featured to come in, and so maybe he didn't have a bunch of featured verses, but neither did The Weeknd. The Weeknd has tons of records with all kinds of artists, and he did it pretty much by himself. Now, as far as the set building and the choreography was amazing, a lot like his videos. You saw a lot of those same choreographed maneuvers and use of extras and dancers in his music videos. For those of you guys who are educated on Kendrick and are in tune with what he's been doing throughout his career, those performance pieces just were a memory and a callback to what we've already seen from Kendrick in those videos, in those presentations from him and Dave Free. TDE continues to elevate the artistic dynamics of how we consume music videos, making some of their music videos almost every time they drop, even with their side projects, much more dynamic and interesting and sought after than your average artist. When I compare Bad Bunny and Kendrick, I compare them in the sense that they're artists that have been extremely commercially successful. Kendrick being able to create catchy, despite them being extremely meaningful and extremely layered and in-depth in regards to messaging and what the songs are about. A lot of the fans are getting lost in the sauce in regards of, this is not politics. You can like Drake and you can like Kendrick. I just think you're a little weird if you like Drake, because if you see everything that's going on online, how he moves, what he posts, and the things that he does as a 40-something old man, you're willing to make that decision for yourself, but we have to judge you accordingly.
Going down, it's your boy Juicy J. Our hustle is our hustle, man. That's what you're watching right now. It's going down.
It's Kendrick Lamar, my dude Rambo.
Our hustle.
Yeah.